And don't get offended, no offense.
Okay, so today we're here with my man Spiirow. I'm sorry,
No, it's no
Spiirow.
problem. Yes,
We're
sir.
gonna get to know. We're gonna get to know all about him today. He's an artist out of Houston, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and we're gonna get to know all about his inspirations, his aspirations, where he wants to go, his the reason behind his career and things like that. So without further ado, y'all know how we do on No Offense, man. Just kick back, relax, and we're gonna get to know the real him. So here we go. Every good story starts from the beginning, brother. You know what I'm saying? Every good book I ever picked up always started with a great beginning. So let's get to know about yours, man. Where were you born, raised? Were you always, from Houston in the Houston area, or exactly were you?
Most of my life, yeah, I was born in Chicago, though, man. South side Chicago, Cook County. And, moved here when I was 2. So I've been here my whole life. That's why I rep the H. Ain't no point in me saying I'm from Chicago trying to get clout off Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Can't
But that's what a
remember.
lot of my family is, though, man. So, yeah.
Bad. So have you been like back and forth through
Yeah,
have
I've
you
been
been
up
back?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been up there. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now coming here at such an early age, as far as the culture, Houston is a music market, man. It's got its own sound, it's a big
Yeah.
major play as far as an area and radio play and things like that. Great opportunities to get noticed and things. Growing up, who were some of the artists that you might have listened to get you your culture?
I mean, I jam everybody that's local. Everybody from Zero, Slim Thug. Then all of the undergrounds. We was real big on Swisher House and SUC. I was born in '89, so I come up through the '90s and the early 2000s listening to all of that stuff, man. But I'm heavily influenced by hip hop in general. So the East Coast and a lot of people like Jadakiss and, Papoose and Fab and people like that, man. It just, kind of touched me a little different. And that's what my approach is to music as well. I don't have the typical, the Southern Houston swangers and Candy Paint and Drink and, all of that. I can do it, though. I do that with ease and with pride, but, I ain't knocking it, but I just try to be a little different and step out the box.
Facts. Definitely, versatility is everything in today's artists, man. You can't just, you can't just be able to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not enough no more. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir. Most
So,
definitely.
so to be well rounded in culture, man. That's definitely a good quality to have and possess, brother. When you were rapping, when you were naming off them artists, bro, I thought you had my iPod, my son, man. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought you had my phone, brother. I was born in '90s, so you know what I'm saying. You talking about all the people I'm listening to? I'm like, oh word, yeah. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? How did
yeah.
what was the first song that you recorded, my man?
The first song was really a freestyle. Everybody started off mostly just freestyling and playing around. But we was doing, like juvenile beats and like the artist juvenile and a lot of Cash Money, Manny Fresh type of beats and stuff. And it was just a bunch of group freestyles. So it was probably 8 or 9 of us in a little bitty bedroom, and we was just freestyling off the little computer mic, man. I don't know if people remember, but it's a little small circle mic, man, and we just
Yeah,
had to hold it, yeah, man, and we were just going and flowing on that, man. So yeah, and then we used to flow off the tapes. So we had
yeah.
the radio playing, and we'd hit the record and try to flow off the tape, man. It's crazy, man. I say, man, we was trying to make it happen.
They'll never understand the struggle, bro. It's one of them. You know what I'm saying? Bro, trust me. I know. The reason
Yeah.
I followed that one up with, what was your inspiration behind? So that's your first time recording. But what's the first time that you went to the studio with intention, like, hey, I'm ready to do this? Like, what kicked you into gear? You feel me? Like, let's
To
take it
write,
serious.
yeah, to start writing and really, really, I guess having structure behind the music, then that was 2006,
Mm.
and I got inspired by a guy from Indiana. I met him, and I seen his pen game, right? So when I seen him creating it, then he spit it and recited. I say, oh wow, it was structured more. I've been listening to music, but I never really, dove that deep into it and thought about, oh, maybe this artist is freestyling or maybe he writing. But that was a pivotal moment for me in 2006, and I think I was about 16 or something then, and so that's when I made my first song, and I had friends that already kind of operated their own home studios and stuff like that. So that was the first time that I really engaged and made a song like that, man. So yeah.
Facts. What was the inspiration behind it? What was the song about?
The song, it was almost about a heaven and hell type of situation. So we faced with obstacles, and we faced with our own angels and demons, and so that's what I created the song about. To kind of replicate what we go through in everyday life, and put it in layman terms, but still throw a little twist and turns and metaphors. I think I still have it somewhere. I gotta try to find that, man. I got a bunch of USBs I gotta go through and stuff, man. But yeah,
Hey,
it might be on the old CD somewhere too, man. It's not even playable.
hey, but the reason why I take it back is because everything we grow. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes, sir.
one of the best ways to really measure your growth is to think about with the knowledge you have now.
Oh, yes, sir.
From when you started, like what were some of the things that you were like, like I not everybody has to take the journey, you know what I'm saying? But what were some of those things now that you can look back on and be like, yeah, I probably could have done this a little bit better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't the way to do it right then.
Um, like as far as like rapping wise or just life?
Or just like, yeah, as far as let's start off with first just the music as an artist, and then yeah, we could do it
Yeah,
as
me being an artist, I think I could have just really took it a little bit more serious and engaged myself in my craft a lot more. Being young, you kind of take it for granted. And you're like, oh man, I got this rap stuff in the bag. Yeah, granted, I could rap. I was good at it. A lot of people kept telling me, but I ain't really take it serious. And I mean serious by like studying the game as far as like the business behind it and the musical side of it. Like, really creating, double entendres and really going deeper than just because I used to do a lot of similes to begin with as a younger artist instead of really gravitating towards the metaphors and then gravitating toward, everything else, using personification, alliteration, and really deep diving into the whole English class like I do now, you
right.
know. And so if you look back hindsight, that's what I would have did a little different, kind of took what I did know and learned from school and really applied it like I do now. And that's why I think, my flow is a little different, well, not a little different. It's vastly different, but I can cover a lot more content that way. Because I shifted from being a younger artist talking about the streets and all of that to now I can talk about both of the best worlds. I can go from love to hate. I could go from highs to lows. I can go from green to brown. It just it's a big difference. But that's what I would have changed though, man. Looking back.
Do you think that it was the experience made the difference, like as far as growing up, like to give you more um perspective and content, you know what I'm saying? Because even back then, I mean, you were at 16
Yeah.
to you
Yeah,
like
they say you don't really, you don't have nothing to write about, you don't have nothing to rap about. But I
yeah,
mean, I grew up fast, man. I had a lot to say. I always had a lot to say. Cause I try to take, even if it's not my own personal experience, right? Then, say you my friend or you my family or something, and you going through something, I kind of take I'm a Pisces, so I love hard and love strong, so with that being said, I take on my friend and family problems and all of that too. And so, if you're going through something, then I might use that as a moment to express it and not even to like get cloud off of it or oh, that's a dope song, that's a dope idea, but more so to make something that you can listen to that might help you get through, And so that's why I always, did music like that. And that's why I always had content to really kind of resonate with people, and really hit home for a lot of people. That's why I'm saying like not just the swingers and candy paint and smoking on gas and all of that stuff. I could do it. I like to do it, but my preferable records is something that's gonna be a little bit deeper than the surface.
conscious stuff. I understand. Yeah, I mean, as you get older, I feel like you gotta like you get a responsibility, like you know what I'm saying, to kind of drop that. You know what I'm saying? If like you said, we learn through, you know, our environment and the things that we go through. So if somebody
Yes.
else drop some knowledge on you, you know what I'm saying, and you could, and a younger cat could pick that up and say, hell, I'm trying to save you some time. You know what I'm saying? Like that way they can each one reach one to teach one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? Um, as far as if you can get anybody in the world that's for a feature, you know what I'm saying? And I know some artists not crazy that like they don't want the features, but let's say you can get any artist in the world for a feature.
Mm, I ain't gonna lie, man. I probably would do. I ain't gonna lie. I probably would do like either Andre 3000 or Lupe Fiasco.
Back. Huh?
Yeah, man, because they kind of deeper than life itself and deeper than the music itself. So they almost mythical figures, so to speak. In the rap game, man. So of course, I would love to do work with anybody. If I could, because I don't turn down nothing. I look at it like healthy competition and also a life experience, LE. To really grow and learn something. Because Eric, to me in life, everybody can teach you something. A baby, all the way up to 100-year-old. It's inevitable and it's just no limit to it. It's infinite. So that's what I would do a feature with them, man, if I could.
Facts, facts. Some of the greatest works I like Under 3000, man. The art storytelling, Outcast, man.
I'm telling you, right,
It's a
man.
whole legacy in itself, brother. Like you know what I'm saying. That would be that's one of the things I feel like you do for. It don't matter what the cost was, even if it what you know what I'm saying. Like like you do for the. It's one of those things that you do for the love of the craft more so
Most
than you do for the dollars. And in today's market, you know, a lot of artists look at um so I feel like some artists enter the game thinking they're gonna be like these mainstream artists, right? And that there's gonna be all of this money. Um, you know, as an artist, like it doesn't it's work. It's work.
most
You know what I'm saying?
most
Um,
definitely.
do you what are some of the the things that you could drop to those artists that might be coming into the game for the what I call the wrong reasons? Because I feel like if you're doing it for the money, you're not going to be happy because that's not the money will come, but it's an investment. You know what I'm saying? But as an artist that
Most,
they're just doing this, what are some things that you might if be able to drop on somebody who's thinking about picking up music as a career or as an artist they can pick up as a career?
um, I do this a lot. But when I speak to somebody, man, or I speak with somebody like one of these younger artists, because they got a lot of talent, but I see myself, in that position at that time frame, and like, man, a lot of people was telling me take it serious and do all of that, but I wouldn't listen. But now I try to engage the younger artists and the younger generation, Gen Z, what you want to call it. I try to tell them, to register yourself, because PROs, like performance rights organizations, they got free ones and they got paid ones. ASCAP and BMI for the US, and then all over the world, any country you in, they have a PRO for you. And so I recommend you registering yourself, because this is the stuff that the label gonna do. And this is why they charge you a lot, because of the background work from it. So I get you want to be famous and have the money and all that, but by doing this yourself, seeing how hard it is to, get yourself registered, make sure you got all of your copyrights in place for anything you start writing, and then start moving forward towards doing, all kind of mechanical licenses and stuff like that yourself. So you will see the effort and the grind that it take really to put yourself in the proper position for the money to come your way, because yeah, your talent can get you a lot, but it also could get you screwed over, because you focus so much on the talent that and just oh yeah, I got the talent, the money gonna come. Yeah, I'm waiting on the label to sign me. That's the favorite words of everybody, even me back then, And I wouldn't do it personally now, because I had a contract, man, with a smaller entertainment company in 2010 for a couple years, and a couple CD drops and stuff. But you know, looking back on it now, man, I was doing exactly what you're saying, trying to chase for the money. and chase for the fame, because it wasn't like it is now with all of the TikTok and all of this stuff, the quick instant fame. But I really would focus on being, like, I don't want to sound cliche, being the brand, how to say building the brand and being the brand, but at the same time, having fun, like you say, for the love of what you're doing, because if you, like a lot of these guys, even NBA, NFL, they do it. Yeah, they do it to, be in the big leagues and make the money, but they do it because they got the passion for the game.
Yeah.
And, if you seen the movie Paid in Full, what Mitch say, man, Ace, man, I do it because I love this. I love this, man. I don't do it because, for real, man. That's my favorite movie, man. So, I take that for real, and I do it for the love, man, and the craft, and the real ingenuity of how everything is, really just fluctuating, but at the same time, everything is just becoming, just like it's so vast, man. You can't even put a name on it because it's ever expanding and always growing. So I think to be a part of that is bigger than the money, to really gravitate like what's happening in your life and where you at in that position to even receive some money and really focus and be like, okay, like if it's my time, it's my time. But now I'm finna really, open my mind up and let's take it to another level, like for real, for real. I don't know if I ran in circles or if I answered your question, man. My bad.
Hey, no, bro, real stuff. You listen. It's a conversation. Yes, it's a conversation, brother. You feel me? Like you ain't did nothing wrong. I'm listening and they listening. You know what I mean? So, as far as we grew up around that time where MP3s were transitioning. We went from CDs to MP3s. We went from, artists used to having to hustle their merchandise at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? So now the internet was developing. So now we got merch. Like, you want merch? Okay, go on our website, order my merch. You know what I'm saying? Or we put out a promotion on it. Do you think that may have hurt or helped the culture as far as hustle?
It helps, because you can still do both. Back then, everybody didn't have it seemed like it's like mind blowing, right? Like, what? Nobody had access to a computer and phones, but that's the truth. If you had a computer and a phone, you was borderline balling, rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really was you was living good if you had that on internet, because a cell phone, really not too many people had that. Everybody had landlines, So and even a computer, and then if you had a Mac or Apple, oh man, you really was balling in, man. Now it's just like, who don't have an Apple, who don't have whatever. So, I think it helps because you still can do the physical, right? You still can, sell your t-shirts, your hats, everything, cups, mugs, pens, everything in the physical form, because that's always gonna be localized to you, right? So if you meet somebody at the store or anything and you have any items on you, then that's cool. You can sell it right direct to consumer. But if you do have the QR code or the link tree or whatever you have, send them to the digital funnel, then that's also a plus. So I don't think you losing anything except for the physical engagement. That's the only thing that would be a little um less heartfelt, because you're not seeing somebody in person doing the business personally with them. But then again, it is personal. Like, it's just a new era of personal, because getting emails and getting somebody to really, engage with you even online is kind of personal. I mean, a million dudes slide in DMs all the time, but they don't get, they don't get all the way through. You know what I'm saying? Even for you, right? Somebody probably slide in your DMs all the time. I seen you post that the other day. They want all the love, but they don't want to show love,
Hey, maybe I did it just as a reminder for people to think about, hey, you know what I'm saying? Not even just me, but like, hey, I got some people that really rock with me solid. Let me return some love and favor and hit their share button.
Yeah, you probably did. You got a couple people thinking and engaging, like let me go ahead and reach out so I don't lose this or whatever. Let them know it's all love. Yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing though, that you got that mentality. Because a lot of people don't, they kind of, it's brainwashing going on, you know that. So, and you could get real easily lost in trying to, I guess, self promote in the wrong way, and
Yeah.
that's real, it's real easy to get lost in that, man. And I think that's what happened with a lot of people. And what you talking about too, it may not even be intentional, they probably don't see it how you see it. You know what I'm saying? They just like, oh man, I'm just dropping something, and they don't see it like they not engaging with you and all that. I ain't making an excuse for them. I'm just saying
Yeah,
because
it's like,
I'm trying to psychologically figure it out, like what's going on with the mindset, because it seemed like it's just structure and foundation for me. Like you should have grew up on this, like it's
bro,
crazy.
I'm starting to think that was like a our era thing, because you know what I'm saying. People around us, like bro, we get
Yeah,
that, you know what I'm saying. But
yeah,
everybody else, I'd be amazed. Like I gotta explain that. I guess this would be crazy to me. Like I'm like, yo,
mm,
but when it comes to like this new age of music, because we got all kinds of music out here, brother. Like I think
yeah,
when we came up, everybody had a different sound. Like
most definitely. Yeah,
you would hear Jada Kiss, right? And you be like, oh shit, that's Kiss. You know what I'm
uh-huh.
saying? You would hear like or you would hear like even R&B, you might hear like Anthony Hamilton. You be like, oh yeah, that's Anthony Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? You might
Yeah,
hear Luther Vandross, you like that's Luther. In today's
yeah,
sound, where you got so many different people that sound like, it's like every sound has its own like genre. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like you got a
yeah.
million people that sound like,
Mm.
how do you find it? How do you find to how are you able to rise to the challenge to just be different, man? Because it's so many different, you know what I'm saying? It's so many different people that sound the same. It's just crazy. I've never, you know what I'm saying? Is it because of the access of the studios now? Like you can do this at home, or what do you think plays into that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, right now we're in the influencer, era. And so, and I say right now because we might transition to, you never know, man. Bell bottoms was in, then they was out, then came back in. So, like they say, everything revolved. But I think being in this time frame, in this era, then the influences is just not just cultural influences, or just clothing and attributes and stuff like that. I think it's entire characters and mentalities. And so, you know even back then in the 90s and early, late 80s and stuff, man, people wanted to be, NWA, and people wanted to be, Wu-Tang, and you could take all of these groups and stuff, man, music, and so people was trying to do that, and people was still trying to imitate their rapping too. If you really dive back deep in the crates, it just wasn't accessible like it is now. And so the bar set so low with quality over quantity, then people just get on these platforms like SoundCloud, BandLab, or whatever, Bandcamp, all of these rap fame, all of these platforms that you could just upload music to, no matter how good it sounds, or no matter, even if you, because literally they doing copyright stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because you still in the structure and cadence of a song, that's
Right.
infringing copyrights. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even know that if you really look it up. But the bigger artists ain't gonna waste time trying to do that with so many small fish. It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you blow up with that same type of cadence and style as Lil Baby, as Roddy Rich, as all of these people, then you will have a problem because they're gonna come and take what's theirs. And you be like,
Right.
what? You know what I'm saying? But you really infringing on the copyright. And so I try to tell people that too, but I try not to be you know, I guess old school with it and be
I know
like,
what you
man,
mean.
yeah, you gotta have your own sound and all of that. Cause it's cool to, mimic and do. I did a song like that on Tupac beat, on the Ambition as a Rider. And I tried to, I tried to hit it like Pac a little bit,
Yeah.
but that's just one time, and doing the small tribute is the difference between paying homage and then,
The jagged
really just,
style.
yeah, just riding the craft and really trying to act like it's yours. And
Yeah.
so I try to draw the line, with what I do. And I always had the mindset of, if it's not authentic, it's not real, and that's a metaphor, but that's also, like factually true. You know what I'm saying? If it's not authentic, then it's not real. Everything is authentic, even if it's fabricated and remanufactured. It still started and originated from somewhere. So you got to keep that in mind, as growing up, as a youngster too, man, because that'll shape your character going into adulthood, and I consider adulthood not the age, but, the mentality.
Right.
So a lot of these artists, I try to tell them, man, if I was you, I would have fun with it, with trying to do some stuff that sound like Juice World and all of that. That's cool. But, also have a seriousness about yourself. And, really, like, if you're doing this for fun, it's cool. But if you're trying to do this music and really take it to another level, then at some point you're going to have to kind of put your foot down and say, okay, it's my time. Now we're going to do this and this and this. Almost like writing out a business plan. You got to have a little structure and solid foundation to be able to even, try to do something different and try to do something new and creative. And maybe it worked, maybe it don't. Then you have to switch it back up. That's why I related to business, because it's trial and error in life, man. So that's what I think a lot of people should do and experiment with if they trying to do the music for, for real, for real. If you just having fun rapping, what I'm saying, then that's cool. Do your thing. But if you're trying to monetize, that's a whole different ball game. And that's why a lot of people get, these review shows and stuff. People be like, "Oh man, that's trash. That's trash." The younger generation, "Oh, that's fire. That's gas," because that's the sound that they like. They like NBA YoungBoy. So if anybody sound like him and do it, oh yeah, that's gas. But in reality, would you pay and follow them? Nine
Right.
times out of 10, they don't. You know what I'm saying? They hear it for that moment. Oh, that's cool, but they're gonna go back to the original source,
Right.
you know,
Right.
because you jog their memory. Now, if I start rapping like YoungBoy, they think, oh, what he sound like? Oh, that sound like YoungBoy. Now they gonna go play his whole album. They might play one song for me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't even realize you marketing for other people, and it's a whole lot. I could go deeper and deeper, but yeah, that's the overall, man. So yeah.
That's a gem right there. I swear we're gonna clip that. That's gonna be promo for that. What you just said right there, because man, I'm glad somebody said it. Listen, we are running a long time, but listen, we definitely gonna talk soon because I understand you got a project coming. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
If you can for me, make sure that you give out all your tag. Like if you can't talk a little bit about the project, but make sure you give out all your tags and where people can follow you and find your music on all platforms as well. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, y'all can follow me, Spiirow, SPIIROWHOU on Facebook, Spiirow everywhere else. You can look me up on the link tree and get everything too, man. I got a website coming soon, and I'm dropping a project, Pieces of a Pisces, in February. So that's gonna be an album, considered an album because it's more than 7 songs. I already got an EP out, Chaotic Chemistry. Y'all go check that out. I got another album I did earlier this year, Sticks and Stones. It's out on all platforms, man. Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Deezer, everywhere. All of the platforms. Just keep making music, keep creating, man. It's a pleasure to be here on this platform, man. No offense, man. Shout out to all the real ones, all of the grinders out there, man. I salute y'all, man. And keep doing what y'all doing, man. Look for me, man. Your boy Spiirow, man.
I appreciate you, Spiirow, man. It's been an honor to interview with you today. Like I said, we definitely gonna do it again and chop it up. Hopefully closer to your release. So we'll, what I'm saying, we can work what we talked about. Y'all make sure to
Yeah,
check my boy out and No Offense Magazine. He will be in the December issue that will be dropping on the 20th. And like you said, check him out on all platforms. Spiirow, I appreciate you, brother. You make sure you have a great day, man. We're gonna be listening. You heard me?
you too. No offense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.